Sorry about that. I couldn't hear what you said. We're live.
Great. Thank you so much, Eric. Looks like we are live and we are going to start this meeting of the Natomas CPAC. My name is Jamie Cutlip. I am currently a member of the CPAC, filling in for the chair and vice chair who are not attending tonight. I am going to request Eric, our clerk, if you wouldn't mind just leading us through the normal welcome message and notices of meeting virtually that we do at every meeting, since I don't have that script in front of me.
Okay, let me start with just reading this announcement here. So in compliance with directives of the county, state, and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, this meeting is live streamed and closed to in-person public participation. Temporary procedures are subject to change pursuant to guidelines related to social distancing and minimizing person-to-person contact. And to make a verbal comment at today's meeting, dial 916-875-2500 and follow the prompts to be placed in queue for a specific agenda item or off-agenda matter. When the chair opens public comment for a specific agenda item or off-agenda matter, callers will be transferred from the queue into the meeting to make a verbal comment. Written comments are always accepted and can be sent via email to boardclerk@saccounty.net. And your comment will be routed to the board and filed in the record. And Alma's going to read the script here because I don't have a copy of it.
Great. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm working on that. I did not expect to have to do this.
Oh, and it looks like Mariana has joined us. Hi, Mariana.
Okay, this is Alma. Do you want me to just let me know when you want me to start, Eric?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. In compliance with the directives of the county, state, and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC's, this meeting is live streamed and closed to in-person public participation. Temporary procedures are subject to change pursuant to guidelines related to social distancing and minimizing person-to-person contact. To make a verbal comment at today's meeting, please dial 916-875-2500 and follow the prompts to be placed in queue for a specific agenda item or off-agenda matter. When the chair opens public comment for a specific agenda item or off-agenda matter, callers will be transferred from the queue into the meeting to make a verbal comment. Written comments are always accepted. To send your email comment to boardclerk@saccounty.net. Your comment will be routed to the board and filed in the record. Thank you.
Okay, and then we do also have an introductory script, which I'll go ahead and read it. I think I found a copy of it. It may be a little outdated, but it's still the same premise. So again, I'm Jamie Cullip. I'm serving as a member of the CPAC. CPAC members are volunteer citizens appointed by Sacramento County Board of Supervisors. The councils are advisory only to county agencies, and the purpose of the CPAC is to encourage citizen participation in the planning process, provide local forums to develop and propose community goals and objectives, to serve as a local sounding board for new proposals offered by county staff and to assist the county planning agencies and board of supervisors in carrying out approved community plans and county's general plan. The function of the CPAC may include updating community goals, plans, develop and propose community improvement programs, review and comment upon proposed amendments to the general plan, specific plan, zoning changes, conditional use permits, and other related zoning matters. Advisory recommendations are forwarded to hearing bodies, which include the zoning administrator, the subdivision review committee, the county planning commission, and finally, the board of supervisors. Our meetings are always open to the public and are listed in local neighborhood newspapers, posted at libraries and meeting sites. Courtesy notices are mailed to property owners within 500 feet of the project based on the address on record and posted on the county's website. So with that, I'm going to have the clerk go ahead and take a roll call.
Okay, Member Baines?
Here.
Member Bryant?
Here.
Member Cutler?
Here.
Member Savignano?
Here.
Member Zito?
Here.
And Member Casillas, and I did see that email that he sent, so he's not here. And we have a quorum.
Great, thank you. So that will take us to our first item on the agenda, which is an update on Metro Air Park projects. Before we jump into that item, I also just want to give a chance for any other county staff or applicants that are attending the meeting tonight just to quickly introduce themselves as well.
Good evening. This is Chris Bahuli, Principal Planner with the Planning and Environmental Review Department.
Hello, you also have, go ahead.
Sorry about that. This is Meredith Holsworth, Associate Planner. I'm the Project Manager for item number 2.
I'll take it now. Kent Craney, Sacramento County Economic Development, here to talk about the Metro Air Park projects.
Eric DeLosta, I'm a Deputy Clerk with the county.
And this is Jessica Brandt. I'm a Senior Planner with the Planning and Environmental Review Office, and I'm actually here to learn about the Natomas, the Metro Air Park projects as well.
Okay, not hearing any other introductions. Who was going to lead us on item 1?
I will.
Actually, Kent, this is Chris Bahuli. I'll just do the introduction, and then I'm going to turn it over to Kent Craney from our Economic Development Department.
Perfect. That works.
Yep. First, I'm hoping that the clerk of the board's office, it looks like they are pulling up the map that was prepared that we're going to use as part of our presentation. But again, good evening, CPAC members. Chris Papuli. My pleasure to be presenting, or at least doing the introductory remarks for this item. At one of your recent meetings, I believe you heard a project. It was likely a parcel map in the Metro Air Park area, and members requested an update on happenings or efforts at the Metro Air Park special planning area, just to get an idea of what is to come. And so that's why we are here this evening. I'll provide a little bit of background on the special planning area and some of the activities that planning is involved with currently. And then Kent Craney from our Economic Development Department will provide an overview of all of the development interest and activities that are currently underway at Metro Air Park. But just as a refresher for the group, the Metro Air Park SPA is nearly 1,900 acres, and it was first adopted in 1998. It does contain 6 sub-districts that are intended to really focus industrial and retail development in different districts within the larger, again, roughly 1,900 square foot or 1,900 acre area. The SPA does direct uses, development standards, and does have a very specific set of landscape and design guidelines. And what that SPA and its associated environmental impact report provides for is really a framework and regulatory approach for development within the Metro Air Park special planning area. For projects that are consistent with the SPA and not subject to any conditionally permitted use requirements, the approach for projects to move forward is a staff level non-discretionary design review. And as most of the projects that have occurred out in the plan area have been consistent with the SPA, those projects have actually moved forward with no review by the CPAC. So much of the activity that has currently been occurring out there, as you're well aware, has not come through the CPAC for review and comment, as it's been just done through a design review. However, the CPAC is involved with reviewing all of the parcel maps, subdivision maps, and any of the conditionally allowed uses, or if any projects were seeking to deviate from the special planning area. And so you have seen a handful of projects that have worked their way through the CPAC. And also, if there are any larger tweaks to the SPA itself, those have also worked their way through the CPAC for review before moving on to the Board of Supervisors. And those would be the plan amendments, the special planning area plan amendments. There's been 3 of them that have occurred over the past few years, most recently in October of 2018. So, as you've seen some of those maps that have occurred in the plan area, as well as some of those plan amendments, we do have current entitlement applications in for a handful of projects. I wanted to note those, one being that the owners group out at Metro Air Park has submitted for a plan amendment. They are looking to address some of the issues with caps on certain uses in the SPA. I think you'll hear a little bit more about that through Kent's presentation, but basically there is a cap on industrial uses in the retail districts, and they're looking to raise that cap in those retail districts, as well as some other amendments to the plan as well. And then we do have a number of discretionary permits that have been discretionary conditional use permit applications that have been submitted. Most of those are going to be gas stations, and those are currently working their way through the process, and ultimately when they are ready will come to the CPAC for review. And lastly, parcel maps. There are a number of property owners that are looking to split their property into smaller pieces, primarily down in the southern area of Metro Air Park, where there is a desire to do more retail development, and that's what's specified in the plan. And that is, in fact, what you have before you this evening. So with that introduction, I'm going to hand the reins over to Kent Craney from Economic Development, and he's going to walk through this colorful map that's been prepared and that highlights the projects that are currently underway, as well as ones that are being proposed as well. So Kent?
permitting and construction for these facilities over the last 5-6 years so far. So anyway, in terms of the graphic, I don't think I'll be able to control it, correct? Somebody else will have to control it for me.
I'm sorry, this is Jarrell with the clerk of the board. You probably are going to have to start over just because your mic was muted when you started speaking. And yes, I can control the map for you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Again, Kent Craney, County Economic Development, Principal Civil Engineer, been involved here at Metro Air Park for 5 years, starting with the first Amazon facility. And if you could scroll down to the southern or bottom of the graphic, that'd be great. All right. So just to orientate everybody here, I-5 is along the southern boundary here, or the bottom of the screen. State Route 99 would just be off to the right as I'm looking at the screen. The airport will be on the left or west of the screen. And then further north, when we started scrolling down, you had Alberta way at the north end. As Chris mentioned earlier, it is 1,900 acres of Metro Air Park, and it's got different zoning. But what you've seen in the last 5 years of growth out there is primarily the industrial area, the industrial and airfield related areas of the districts 1 and 2. And primarily the product you're seeing going up are distribution warehouses for fulfillment centers, for online shopping, those kind of things. So, I want this to be the most productive for the CPAC members and staff. So I figured I'd just go through the buildings that are constructed, occupied, acquiring permits, or in concept. And I'll start with that, if that's okay with everybody. All right, hearing no objections. The buildings on this map that you see in blue are already constructed and in some cases already occupied. The ones you see in orange have applied for a permit within the county in some way, shape, or form. And then the ones in yellow are conceptual. It's the plan of the current landowner developer, and it may or may not turn out that way. So the first one you see that's really important, it was the first building we had out here, was Amazon. They call it SMF1. It was built in 2016, 2017, opened for Christmas season 2017. 855,000 square feet with internal mezzanines that bring it to about 2 million square feet of fulfillment center capacity. It's been very successful from talking to the Amazon personnel and management. And as we go through other buildings here, you'll see that they've decided to grow out here. If you can scroll up a little bit to the north. Thank you, appreciate it. The second building is the Walmart facility you see there just coming into view along what we call Powerline Road there, the red line there. It's the interface between the airport and Metro Air Park. Walmart decided they wanted to compete with Amazon in terms of online. I think they're doing that throughout the nation. And they decided they wanted to build a facility out here. This is a 1.1 million square foot building. They built new infrastructure. There's Cerna Drive across the northern or the top of the building. And this facility went into service October of 2020 and has been operational for almost a year now, getting just short of that. So the third building that came in was SC Johnson. They have lab products, they have materials and things that they primarily their customer base is medical industry. But they relocated a facility, an older facility from Woodland over to the Metro Air Park site. You can see them down in the lower left corner, 600,000 square foot building. They went operational late 2020, and they're doing very well there. Then up to the north, if you can scroll up. So the first three buildings I mentioned are actually occupied and built. This next one, Project Shelby, often the future tenants want a code name on it until they're willing to and open to being able to announce who they are. Shelby, we can now talk about it. It's going to be another Amazon facility. It's going to be their big box facility. So The smaller units come in 500,000 unit, containers or boxes or something. They put them in this building, and then they break it down, move it down to the smaller units going into the fulfillment center further south, the one we spoke of earlier. So Project Shelby at the corner of the newly constructed Albaugh Drive and Powerline Road is a 1.3 million square foot facility. Will be operational later this month if all things go well. And their real goal is to get that thing up and running and be able to support the other facility this coming Christmas season and throughout the year for their fulfillment needs. And then the fourth building that's currently in construction in this the western area of Metro Air Park is Project Mustang. It's a smaller building at Cerna and Metro Air Parkway. You see it there in the middle left of your screen. That's going to be a 250,000 square foot building. Can't quite say who the tenant is yet, but it will be familiar when you do know who it is. They have tilted walls there. They're doing sewer, water, and drainage infrastructure, and they plan to be operational by this fall. So the last three buildings I spoke of were built by a group out of Kansas City who come out here and bought land and acquired more while they've been out here. And they've been very active. North Point, Kansas City, the original Amazon facility that I spoke of, that was built by a group called Seafried out of Phoenix. So they're both outside developers who came in and took a chance on Metro Air Park and have been highly successful. So continuing along with the orange buildings that North Point still is still being very aggressive. And you can see Capri, that's another code name building. That's about 300,000 square foot one. They have a foundation there. They'll be tilting up walls here pretty soon. Further to the south, there's a Project Fiesta, 230,000 square feet, another spec warehouse, but they'll probably have a tenant very soon. And then you see Building 8 in the middle of the screen. That's one that will just start going forward for design review, and infrastructure and building plans will be coming in later this fall. So as you can see on this middle western side of Metro Air Park, this North Point out of Kansas City has been highly successful in acquiring land, getting tenants, building buildings, and really creating some economic development. A lot of jobs associated with these facilities, a lot of property tax base for the county. It's been a good arrangement. Any questions at this point?
Yes, this is Baines. I had a question about, are these all lakes that are around here? Is that what I'm seeing around all of these buildings?
Well, you're playing right into my wheelhouse. I'm an engineer by trade. So the lakes you see there are part of the drainage system for Metro Air Park. All the facilities I just spoke to have underground drainage systems that take the parking lots and drain it into this drainage system. And the drainage system goes around in a kind of a counterclockwise way. If you start at Mustang and you work your way in a counterclockwise way and then go straight south, that's how the drainage system works out here. There's further a plan for open space and perhaps a golf course to be integrated into that drainage lake system and also create an open space, perhaps a golf course in future years.
Is it also something that for the birds, when the birds migrate, or is this too close to the airport, or is what happens with that, with wildlife and things like that? That this looks
right.
like.
It is something the airport monitors, and it could attract some birds. I can tell you this: with every project we build, we have a coordination with the airport, and they look at things like the potential for bird strikes. They look at all of the landscaping that's going in addition to any of the surface water features you see there. So there's always a consultation with them. I can get a little bit more into the picture.
Sorry,
yeah, go ahead.
And just to tag on to that, Kent's exactly right. That is part of the design review that's conducted for each project. There is a consultation with airports, and they are providing input on tree species, and they did as well when we put together the revisions to the special planning area document and the landscape guidelines. They were very involved with the tree species that were identified as being appropriate for the location, given the concerns about bird strikes with the airport in such close proximity.
Okay,
And also, go ahead.
my second question is then, is some of this going to be, you said it might be a golf course, is some of this going to be parks areas? I can't tell how large a space it is, but is there room in there for parks and things like that for workers to get away from the building for a few minutes to go out and have picnic table, or even for citizens to go out there and be in a park-like atmosphere? I was wondering if anything like that was in the plans.
Yeah, that's a great question. In the revision that was done to the SPA back in, I believe it was the 2018 amendment, we did include in the landscape and design guidelines some information about this being an amenity for Metro Air Park, and also, as you suggested, the workers, but perhaps even the adjacent residential subdivisions that are being built to the
Yes.
east of the site as well. And so that is currently in the plan. I do think that there's some more refinement that perhaps needs to be done. And we are certainly, as we're working with individual projects that are coming in, there are guidelines in the design and landscape booklet that speak to the interface of these buildings and their kind of openness to the open space area. So we're remaining cognizant of this being a potential amenity for the larger plan area, and needing to preserve those opportunities for recreation and just enjoyment of that space. So the thought is that it will be recreational outdoor space, but it needs some more programming.
And the last thing I have curious about, what about bike paths and things like that through this area for people that do live residentially close that could, use a bike path to get through this? Is that being planned in this master plan also?
Chris, I can speak to the roads component if you want me to.
Sure.
Well, I just wonder, are there bike paths on the roads, or is there a consideration? Because most of the things in Natomas, North Natomas especially, we have, bike paths already in almost every master plans that connects everything. I'm just wondering if there's anything like that here.
Every road that you see on this screen will be built with a 4 or 5 foot bike lane on each side.
Okay.
And
I just thought it'd be nice through that
point.
park.
Yeah,
What?
just to further that point a little bit more, there is an air quality mitigation plan as part of the adoption of this specific plan. I'm sorry, special planning area, and the goal with the AQMP is really to encourage ride sharing, but also biking in the area and so forth. So in addition to the bike lanes, there also is part of the AQMP and also a transportation systems management plan, the thought that there will be incentives as well for biking in and to the Metro Air Park area.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Do we have any other questions for Mr. Pafuli or Mr. Craney from our CPAC members?
Yes, this is Member Bryant, and I wanted to ask about the area. I'm not sure which direction, to the right of the project or the master plan. That looks like that's going to be all agricultural. Is that correct?
Chris, do you want to tackle that one?
No, that's not correct. So at least on the southern portion of the plan area, it abuts the city of Sacramento and what used to be called Greenbrier, which is now being called, I believe, North Lake.
Mm-hmm. North Lake.
Right. So there's actually a significant number of homes that will be developed or that are in the process of being developed just to the east of the Metro Air Park area, although that is on the southern portion of that of the plan area, not on the northern portion of the plan area.
Okay, so that's all going to be residential area around next to the master plan commercial project?
Yeah, at least to the southeast. In terms of the more northern part of the area, I think that would be subject to kind of further evaluation and study by either the county or city of Sacramento. Or Kent, do you have anything to add to that?
Not really.
Okay. And then just to point out to the group, I know Kent really focused his presentation so far on the kind of western portion of Metro Air Park. There are some other activities going on in Metro Air Park that maybe he should kind of finish.
I'd be happy. I kind of went through the North Point portfolio and the things that are built on the western side. I'll just, I'll make it quicker here. The Oats Development Group have several facilities that are in active construction or in permitting up in the northeastern corner, basically Lone Tree Road, Alberta, Metro Air Parkway. You can see them in the upper right-hand corner of the screen there. I can go into detail about each one of them, but generally it's similar type product. 500,000 square feet, 600,000 square feet, 100,000 square foot fruit storage and distribution warehouse. The one kind of unique one there is Pluto. It'll be a bit of an R&D facility, blood cancer research, things like that. So that's kind of the unique one there. And Oats has a lot planned. You can see a lot of the yellow buildings there. Those are concept, but the Buzz Oats Development Group anticipates building those in the next 3 to 5 years. They think there's a lot of demand for those. So that kind of covers the industrial, but you can get a sense here that industrial / warehouse has really taken off out here. And in no small part, it's been driven by online shopping and also the increase in online shopping that's occurred during the pandemic. So it's something that's I've been very busy with the whole time since 2020. So if you can scroll to the bottom, if whoever's helping me here, appreciate it. We can talk a little bit about some of the things Chris was alluding to. The southern 500, 600 acres, basically bound by Elkhorn on the north. You see it kind of meanders its way over towards the airport from the east to west. But this will mainly be commercial. The main commercial spine will be from the new interchange you see there, which, by the way, will have a soft opening probably this weekend or Monday. And we have a grand opening scheduled next week. So that will be that facility will be open and give us basically a front door to Metro Air Park, which has been long awaited. But as far as the interchange, it'll connect into what's called Metro Air Parkway, and it'll go up and it'll meet with Elkhorn, and it'll go all the way to the north to the warehouses we saw to the north. And you're going to see a lot of infrastructure come in along this corridor. And over time, you're going to see a lot of, which you guys are already seeing probably, as parcel maps being requested. We're seeing lot line adjustments being pushed through or approved. What that's doing is creating the lotting structure or the size of land ownership that the development here will want, which will be hotels, restaurants, gas stations, commercial and other commercial entities will be coming out here. There's a lot of demand given the proximity, of course, to the I-5, the airport. There's a need for amenities for the workers and the people that are driving trucks that are going to and from these warehouses. And also you have residential communities nearby that could use services as well. So we're anticipating a lot of commercial development in the next fiscal, in the next 12 to 24 months. The interchange is a big infrastructure item. I'll quickly touch on a couple other ones. We're building what we call an auxiliary lane between State Route 99 and the interchange. If you drive out there, you'll see the construction going on right now. That'll add a lane of capacity going towards the airport northbound between State Route 99 and Metro Air Park. That'll be done this fall. Along the Powerline Road corridor, we have two roadway projects going on, one that's in construction and one that will be in construction next year. It'll essentially take the whole Power Line Road corridor, which used to be a country road, into a modern, serviceable road for all these facilities out here that will stretch from Elkhorn all the way up to Alberta. So that'll be very beneficial. Also in the planning stages and hopefully going to construction next year will be a connector connecting to the airport. It'll take Elkhorn all the way around the southern end of the runway and bring it over. If you're familiar with the airport, the AM/PM that's over at Crossfield, it'll connect in there. It'll give a second access point to the airport, and it'll also help people who get off here at this interchange to avail themselves of the amenities here, that they can quickly get to the airport through surface streets. So I think I pretty much hit on most of the things I wanted to talk about. If there's any other questions you have, I'd be happy to discuss them.
Do we have any other questions from CPAC members? Okay, I do have one question regarding the southern portion of the special planning area. Are these also all those lots that are currently vacant, that there aren't currently projects plotted for? Are these anticipated to also be warehouse and industrial type uses as well, or is there also a mix of retail or other commercial uses that are slotted for those parcels?
Number one, a really good question, and it also kind of leads us back into something Chris mentioned earlier, that cap that has been requested to be increased from 69 acres to 300 acres for industrial development in districts 3, 4, and 5, which 4 and 5 are the commercial and office areas. So getting to your question, I think you'll see that the commercial along Metro Air Parkway from the interchange to Elkhorn fronting onto the Metro Air Parkway will remain commercial. It's very valuable for that. However, set back where you see Harsh there on the western side, that's a developer out of Portland who recently acquired that property. Their intent is to do some industrial back there. And it's set back off of the main thoroughfare, Metro Air Parkway. I think you'll see something similar on the east side. There's been several entities that are pretty well known in the industrial warehouse area, and they've been working with the current owner to possibly acquire those lands. So hopefully that answers your question. I think you'll see a bit more of the warehouse on the setback areas, but immediately adjacent to Metro Parkway, you're going to see what you would normally see at a freeway interchange when you get off of it.
Yeah, and we're also seeing, in addition to the industrial, we are also fielding a number of meeting requests related to hotels. We have a couple of hotels that are in play that are shown on the map just across from the Amazon site, but we're also talking to other hotels. The other interesting thing to note is that there is a planned light rail station in Metro Air Park, basically at Metro Air Parkway and Meister on that south west corner. And so, part of this is part of our exercise with the plan amendment is really looking at creating some additional flexibility, but also looking at how this plan area, especially in this retail area, builds out with respect to the light rail, a planned light rail station, and also other employment centers in this plan area. So.
Oh, you.
I don't hear anything.
Yeah, I think you might be muted.
Oh, sorry about that.
There you go.
If there's no further questions from the CPAC members, then I do want to turn it to the clerk to see if we have any public comments on this item.
We do not have any.
Great. And then this item is informational, correct? So no action is needed from CPAC members?
That's
Correct. Mhm.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for the presentation.
Oh, I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, that takes us to our next item on the agenda, which is the West Elkhorn Boulevard tentative parcel map. And I believe Ms. Holsworth is going to lead us in that discussion.
Good evening. This is Meredith Holsworth. I'm the project manager for the West Elkhorn tentative parcel map. So this is good timing on this item to come after the nice background discussion about Metro Air Park, just so you can see one of these projects as was described by Chris and Kent. If you can please go to the next slide. If there are any interested members of the public listening in, there are project materials available on our website. That's at planningdocuments.saccounty.net. And you would search by the control number, which is PLNP 2020-00181. Next slide, please. So the project site is located at the southwest corner of West Elkhorn Boulevard and Metro Air Parkway in the Metro Air Park Special Planning Area. It is zoned with that Metro Air Park SPA designation and is surrounded on all sides by that SPA zoning. And as you can see in the aerial, the site is currently undeveloped, but as you can kind of see in the zoning map on the left, that developed portion to the very east of the zoning map is the Amazon Fulfillment Center. Just to give you a little context on that location. Next slide, please. The entitlement request is for a tentative parcel map to divide the 5.58 acres into 4 lots, and then a design review entitlement to comply with the countywide design guidelines as well as the Metro Air Park landscape and design guidelines. Next slide, please. So as mentioned in the overview on Metro Air Park, there are several districts that make up the SPA zoning. This parcel falls within both districts 5A and 5C. So 5A is the Office Hotel Retail Services District Core, while 5C has the same district title but is called Central. It's the Office Hotels Retail Services District Central. So those two districts are very similar, but are intended to provide office and retail uses for visitors and employees within Metro Air Park, as well as commercial services that are in support of the air park and various Metro Air Park users. And for the underlying zone that would be referenced back in our Sacramento County zoning code would be the general commercial zone. So we're looking at typical uses that you would see in a general commercial zone. So we do have, oh, sorry, next slide, please. The proposed parcels 1, 2, and 4, which would be the 3 northern parcels, would fall into District 5A, while proposed parcel 3, the largest southern parcel, would be within District C. And since these districts are very similar in nature, it is the applicant's intent to consolidate and basically rezone the entire resulting parcels to the same district. And that would just give them a little more flexibility in the future if they were intending to adjust parcel lines in the future. And this would be accomplished through the SPA amendment that Kent and Chris were mentioning that is currently being processed. So I just wanted to mention that we are looking at the parcel map as is proposed before you today, but just wanted to point that out if there were any questions about those districts or any further parceling. So there is no development at this time being proposed, but this map would facilitate future development of the commercial, hotel, office, and retail nature. The lot size as proposed range from 0.44 to 2.47 acres. And as of this meeting, staff has not received any comments from members of the public. And the final hearing body for this item will be the Subdivision Review Committee. And that does conclude my staff presentation. And we do have the property owner, I believe, on the call to answer any questions, and I'm happy to answer questions as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Holsworth. With the property owner, would you like to make any comments before we start asking questions?
No, that's fine. No questions.
Okay, great. Do we have any questions from our CPAC members?
I have no questions.
Okay, I do have one question, and this is perhaps for Meredith, for you. You know, I noticed with the lotting pattern that's being created for this parcel map, one of the lots, they do vary in size, and I am just trying to find the map of which one it is. The one that is, I think it's 0.44 of an acre, seems fairly small within that area, but it does make sense in the context that it could be potentially a retail use or maybe an office. I just want to confirm that that really is the intent there. And if there is, you know, if that's typical of the parcel size you would see normally for those type of uses.
Sure, I can answer. Basically, within the Metro Air Park special planning area, we have a minimum lot size of 10,000 square feet. So from a development standards standpoint, as it's over the 10,000 square feet, it does meet our lot size standard. I guess, if the applicant or the property owner wants to speak to the intent of the use that would be going on that parcel, I would defer that to them. But I kind of wanted to briefly mention it just in case this did come up, but that's why I'm actually mentioning that there may be some further adjustments to the property lines in the future. Basically, the separation of District 5A and 5C goes right along that northern property line of parcel 3. So they were a little bit limited with how those parcel lines could be drawn at this time. And I don't want to get too into the weeds on that, but that's just part of the reason that the northern parcel line of parcel 3 is drawn where it is, because it needs to line up with those in order to separate those differing districts. I hope I'm explaining that well. I'm sorry if I'm not. But so if and when the entire project site is rezoned essentially to the same zone, they could further adjust those property lines because they wouldn't have any limitations due to zoning. So again, I apologize if that's not very clear, but please feel free to ask any follow-up questions on that.
Perhaps could we bring up the parcel map, and just if you could call out the zoning, the difference in the zoning where the lines hit currently in the parcel. I think that might be helpful just to see that visual. And then, so future lot line adjustments that might be made to the parcel, would those be processed? Would those come back to the CPAC for review, or would it just be just a straight staff review as an administrative action?
So for the first part of that, if you can go, I believe one additional slide. to the tentative parcel, or sorry, one more after that.
That
So you can kind of see it on this slide. The largest parcel to the south, that's parcel 3. So that parcel is completely District 5C. The other 3 parcels, everything north of that parcel 3 boundary line, everything north of that is 5A. So in the future, if this entire project site were to be all the same zone, they would be able to process further boundary line adjustments. For example, to move the southern parcel line on parcel 2, move that additionally south and make that parcel larger. But right now that boundary line needs to follow along those zoning districts. And so that process, in order to change any zoning, that will be a part of an SPA amendment that would be reviewed by CPAC and would eventually go to the Board of Supervisors. Beyond that, boundary line adjustments, if they are not resulting in any changes to zoning, those are done through the surveys department, and that would not be reviewed by CPAC.
Thank you for that clarification. And then harking back based on the first item we reviewed, which was the entire context of Metro Air Park. If I'm recalling correctly, it seemed like the proposed light rail station would be located just south of this project. Is that correct?
Chris, can you speak to that? I'm actually not quite sure where the light rail is in context to this site.
Correct. Meister is about south of this parcel.
Yeah, I guess if we can toggle, I don't know, that might be a little challenging, but if the clerk's office can toggle back to that map that Kent used for his presentation.
Also on the zoning map, specifically for this project, you can clearly see the intersection of Metro Air Parkway and Meister Way, just as an added exhibit.
Got it. I don't see the map coming up.
Working on getting it up.
Oh, perfect. There we go. Yeah, if we can kind of zoom in a bit in that southern area where that where the interchange is, and you can see Meister Way, a little south a bit. Yep, keep going further south. A little bit more. Okay, cool. So yeah, you can see, I can't kind of show it here, but where Metro Air Park and Meister come together, the proposed station is basically right in the middle of that southwest intersection. And then the subject parcel that we're talking about here is just north of that. So you have that L-shaped property just to the north of the station, which is a parcel map that the CPAC saw not too long ago. And then you have this subject parcel is that hard corner right on the southwest corner of Elkhorn and Metro Air Parkway.
Great. And Chris, do you know if the owners within Metro Air Park, if they are proposing at some point to look into a shuttle service that could shuttle perhaps employees from the light rail station to the distribution warehouses, industrial uses that are a little bit more north of this project site.
Yeah, exactly. One of the efforts that we didn't really speak much about during the previous presentation was that the Metro Air Park Owners Association is required to develop a transportation systems management plan, and they actually have submitted it to us. And we're currently reviewing it, and it will go ultimately to the Planning Commission for approval. As part of that, they are looking to provide a shuttle service. Now, whether it's their own or whether they contract with either RT or the North Natomas TMA, who I think actually the North Natomas TMA also contracts with RT. To provide their shuttle service. There's talk about that in their TSMP. So that will be ultimately what is offered here is some sort of shuttle service.
Great, thank you. Is there any other questions or discussion from CPAC members?
Yes, this is Member Bryant. And I wanted to question about the metro station that's going in. And I was wondering if this is by chance the projected route that was originally supposed to come from downtown out toward the airport, or is this coming from one of the already existing routes?
Well, the Green Line is an existing route, although it stops on Richards Boulevard at Township Line. But ultimately, the plan for the Green Line is to continue on from that station, cross the river, and make its way up to the airport. So that is this line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was originally supposed to go through Natomas, but that's not the case.
Oh no, it will go through Natomas. Yeah, it will go through Natomas to get to this location.
It will go down Truxell all the way up to the current arena site, and then just north of there of Del Paso, it will go towards the airport in a northwest fashion that way. And they already have a site in Blue Lake stop there, and then the next one will be this. Then I would assume the next one will be the airport after this. But it's all the Green Line. But we're waiting on money and funding to build the bridge across the American River to get this going. That's been the biggest bugaboo we've had.
Okay.
Any other questions or discussion from CPAC members? And then if there aren't any, I'm also looking for a motion or recommendation on the project.
I'd like to move that we accept the project as with staff's recommendations. Thank you.
I second that emotion.
Great, thank you, members Baines, and I think that was member Bryant.
Yes. Right.
Great. So, Eric, if you'd like to take the vote on this one.
Okay, and we didn't have any comments on this. Member Baines?
Yes.
Member Bryant?
Yes.
Member Cutlip?
Yes.
Member Savignano?
Yes.
And Member Zito?
Yes.
And it passes unanimously.
Thank you very much, staff, for your presentations. Okay, that's the end of our projects to talk about. This takes us to our item 3, which is staff updates. Do we have any staff updates?
Again, this is Chris Behooly, Principal Planner. I do not have a staff update for the CPAC this evening.
Thank you, Chris. Item 4, council member comments. So turn it back to CPAC members if you have any general comments that you want to make.
I just had a question of when are we going to start meeting in person again?
This is Alma from the Clerk of the Board's office. So for Natomas, that's a little more complicated because your CPAC, the location where your CPAC met, is not open yet. So we're working on those details, trying to get, let me think here. Yeah, it's not open. They said maybe August. So we're working with within the requirements that we are required to provide, remote access still, and we're working on that. And so we're just trying to coordinate for all the CPACs when would be the best time to get back to in-person meetings.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments from CPAC members? Okay, not hearing any. That will then take us to item 5, which is public comments. Do we have any public comments tonight?
We do not.
All right, then. This meeting of the Natomas CPAC is hereby adjourned. Thank you all so much for your attendance tonight and
Thank
for
you.
the presentations. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.